previous video, I talked to you a little bit about Shinrin-yoku, the practice that the Japanese have labeled forest bathing. What it means to go into the forest and to experience creation and the immersion in it that then creates this cascade of neurobiological chemicals that impacts and blood pressure and anti-cancer fighting agents within our bodies. I want to provide some spiritual context for you because in our quantum world, there is a very clear sense that everything is deeply and intimately interconnected. But as early as the 1920s and the 1930s, the great paleontologist Teilhard de Chardin was actually talking about this. Teilhard de Chardin, who was a Jesuit priest but paleontologist by trade and by vocation, he actually was responsible for helping unearth one of the important evolutionary links, Peking man in China. But Teilhard de Chardin said what is important for us to understand is that the evolutionary impulse isn't just an impulse to be something. It's not just an impulse of being, but it's an impulse to connect, to become something more. His research and his reflection said that when a single-cell organism ultimately connected to another cell to create a molecule, we have to have some explanation for why does one cell want to connect to another. And he says it's that evolutionary impulse to connect and to become that is at the very heart of all of creation. And that impulse to become something more, he said, was divine love. It was, in fact, what he called God. Is it any wonder then that for you to immerse in the palm trees, or I have just spent the last couple weeks at the beach and in the palm tree forest, experiencing the incredible creation of the Dominican Republic, is it any wonder that that has some sort of impact on our heart rates and on our blood pressure and on the natural killer cells that fight cancer? We are deeply connected to all of creation because we as humans are creation. We emerge from creation. And that impulse to become something more is absolutely something that is inherent within us as well. Teilhard was the one that was important in what he said concerning why humans have a drive and a desire for community. It was a very, very important observation that we don't like isolation. Solitary confinement is considered a discipline. It is considered extreme. And it is because the impulse in us as humans remains that impulse to become and to connect and to become more as we enter into community. I just wanted to provide a little spiritual context for you because as you connect to creation, as you sit within creation, as you become mindful of the birds and mindful of the flowers, I want to invite you to acknowledge that there is something deeper going on. And you are connecting to the very primordial, primary, primal impulse that created you and created me. That impulse that Teilhard de Chardin called divine love. That impulse he called spirit, divine, God.